Why would you have a giant raptor dinosaur print on top of a ridge with the Olympic Peninsula on it?
I don't know.
Hey, Allie.
Hi.
Allie and I are back on the edge of a mountain. We're just outside of Quilcene, Washington. And today we're going to be looking into going down into the valley here, Allie. What are we in search of? We're in search of a red gate. And there's a couple of red gates in and around this territory, but one in particular close to this ridge. And Allie, what have you heard about red gates?
Basically that it just means there are potentially aggressive or more aggressive Bigfoots beyond it.
Yeah, problem child squatches. So if you go back to a previous podcast we did on the Flash of Beauty channel, you'll find that we talked to like a Mr. X, and he wouldn't come on camera for the documentary, and I don't know too much about this guy. He says he works at Fort Lewis. I think he was in special ops. We were talking in specifics about Mount St. Helens and what supposedly happened there, right, during the explosion, I believe in 1980 or 81. Obviously, a lot of people were injured, and it was just a huge eruption. And squatches be damned, right? They blew up too, along with everything else. Supposedly, they were excavated out of there and triaged not only by special ops people, but also by other Sasquatches. And they're still up in that region. And so maybe, just maybe, if this guy's right, they have a bone to pick with humanity. And behind that red gate, if you ever see a red gate, that's probably a no-go zone for anger issues. Now, we're not near Mount St. Helens. You know, that's Mount Baker, as I said. Way over there is the Cascade Range. But there's a red gate on the other side of this ridge down off of Highway 101. I'll say that much. So Allie and I are gonna go check this gate out. Not only the area behind the gate, it's locked, first of all, but the service road connected to it that kind of parallels it up this ridgeline. And I don't know how far it'll take us. I don't know what we'll find up there. Rather than me try to explain it, let me insert this part of what Mr. X actually had to say about the red gates.
You guys have been on Mount St. Helens, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay. So you see those when you're driving up the mountain. You see those big old those fire barriers with the big old bars that are those gates that are locked up.
Yes.
Okay. Not all of them, but there's plenty of those are locked up because we have bad behaving Sasquatch in those areas, and we don't want people to get hurt if they explore in that area. Not all of them.
Really?
Look for the red ones next time.
Okay.
Most of them are yellow, sometimes white, but look for the red ones. And I bet you, if you interviewed somebody who's had that experience, the people with the SUVs showed up because they were camped or close to one of those red ones.
Are you ready for some red gate action?
So ready. Scary Bigfoots. Did you see that thing over there?
Just right. What'd you see?
Look at this.
Oh, look at this. Some field work. Oh, what is this?
I don't know. Wild
What in the world?
Olympic.
That looks like a giant, like pterodactyl impression.
Mm-hmm.
What's the phrase? What the hell?
What the hell is you in there? Wild Olympic.
Why would you have a giant raptor dinosaur print on top of a ridge with the Olympic Peninsula on it?
I don't know.
Okay, that's random.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. This is a dragon. You can hardly see it, but look, there's the teeth. This is the mouth. That's a horn.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the claw foot. This is a wing and a tail.
What the?
And this is drips. Is that like blood? Or
Oh, I bet it's like molten lava coming down out of his mouth, like the fire.
yeah.
So this is a dragon's foot. Why? So we're here at the red gate. It's actually right off the side of the highway, so forgive the noise. And you were making the point here that this wasn't a yellow gate or it wasn't a red gate.
Yeah, it previously was a yellow gate, and then you can tell that they painted red over it.
Yeah,
I think it's been red for a while, but at one point it was yellow.
here you can definitely see it's red. Bright red. Mm-hmm. You mind walking up here a little ways and peeking?
Let's do it.
Okay. I hear a waterfall.
There's two paths.
This may go to that waterfall
Yeah.
that the campground goes to. Let's go up left, because I bet that goes to the campground over here. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a little road traffic that started here. This is right over here. We've got a open outbuilding on some private property with a rock balancing. I don't know what that is. It looks like an opening up here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the red gate is open. It's just changed. Now it goes up this road here. Oh, this is a good spot to come back to.
Yeah.
For sure.
We just post up and
Yeah, we could just sit here
listen.
on the tailgate. Mm-hmm. We'll go get the car and we'll drive up a ways and we'll see if we can find a spot, Allie, to where we can see Mount Walker from the perfect vantage point.
Okay.
And see if we can spot a dragon. You know what's interesting about the dragon? Is the reports of UFOs over the top of the mountain flying around, coming in and out. And I mean, just between you, me, and the rest of the world, we actually are going to talk to some witnesses that have seen strange lights on top of Mount Walker. But if you were in the 1800s or the 1500s or 1700s, you would not have any context. You know, you would say something like that, perhaps, just like, oh, this must be a dragon.
Or a giant bird, or, yeah.
And those droplets coming down out of its mouth.
Yeah.
This is something that Daryl reported seeing with what he called the chandelier, dropping little white things, molten things, going down into the forest. That's pretty interesting.
That is. You got it?
Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Pretty close and all that shit. Nah. All right, so getting up here behind the red gate in a car. My vehicle's lifted. I've got all-terrain tires, but it's an old Honda. And it looks good there, but the spot we just came through, I don't want to change a flat. So this is the end of the line here. However, we're going to go back to the Boat Trail, look for a spot to set up, do some night ops. But we can leave a recorder here, Allie. We're going to break out the recorder for this one, and I thought we would leave our recorder behind the red gate up here wherever we get the end stake, maybe if we get dizzy again or something like that. But this thing can record for, I think, 3 days straight. It was like $30 on Amazon, something cheap.
Sweet.
We may come back tonight, but I'll go ahead and leave this out. And then I'm going to leave a couple of trigger objects, to use the old phrase. Mirrors are things that they didn't like at the Al Moon Lab. And I don't know if they will like them here. I'm talking specifically about squatches. We'll hang it up here in the tree along with this piece of copper you gave me, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't even know, how is that formed? Is that like
Usually
copper
like
that's been
ant hills.
poured down an ant hill? Nice. Okay, so we'll bring that up here. I wiped it down so there's no fingerprints on there.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the recorder by that. I'm going to bring some flagging tape just in case. That just makes me feel better. Okay, let's see here, Ellie. So you picked a spot right off the side of the trail here. It's going to be super easy to identify with that mound and that rock there. And okay, it says it's recording here. So what is it, the 27th of May?
28th.
28th of May, 5:14. Is that the time, p.m.? And we're up here
Yep.
on the backside of what we're going to call, I guess, Dragon Meadow. And we're going to set these trigger objects up here too. Oh, yeah. So something either fell. It was back here, like if 12 o'clock is straight ahead, 6 o'clock is the other way, so that was about 7:30. So we're going to go ahead and play some sounds, and these are going to be some sounds here from the Al Moon Lab, and we're going to enhance them with the recorder right there. Actually, that's a speaker, and the recorder is sitting in the rocking chair here. And Allie's just panning because we just heard something fall from the tree or get thrown. So we're just going to keep it on the tripod. We're at, I guess if this is 12 o'clock going up the road, 6 o'clock is behind the camera. That would be 9, and that would be 3. So that'll be kind of the jargon here as we move forward if we hear anything. So am I call blasting? I guess I kind of am. And we'll see what sounds we get. I can hear a little bit of the highway off to the right of me, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. All right, here goes nothing. All right, so now we'll wait. All right, so now we're going to play the vocals from the Shaman Shack. Actually going to play some music by Simeon Hine here. It's called the Oral Resonance Harmonizing Sound. It lasts for 15 minutes. Allie's peeking through with her FLIR. She's picked up on a small heat signature in front of the green light, which is the speaker. Alright, I'm gonna turn it. Okay, Allie, well, we've been out here for a little while. We're not going to sleep in the car tonight. We did our first night sit behind the red gate. I think that's a good first step. Yeah. Off to about the 9 o'clock position. We have the recorder going right now. I don't know if it heard anything that we're doing down here. It's pretty sensitive, but we'll find out on review. And we'll come back in a couple days, see if anything. I mean, we heard some kind of small sounds down here, but nothing concrete. And nobody's used this service road since we've been sitting on it. I mean, you could probably put a tent in the middle of the road and no one would come. We'll wrap it up. Night 1, red gate. We'll see what happens on the way home. So we're back at the gate. It's been a couple days since we've been here, and we thought we would head up. Last time, Allie, we went to the left, checked out where that went, which is the old service road where we put the recorder.
Yes.
But we didn't check this one out, so I thought since we're heading out this way, actually it was your idea to check it out, so if I get poison oak, I'm going to blame you. But maybe it's a lovely trail to the campground and the waterfalls, because I think there is a water feature.
Yeah. But do we know if it's on this side or past the campground?
No. I have no idea. Wow, look at that, Allie. Rainbow Canyon Trail.
Rainbow Canyon.
Hikers only.
Hikers only.
What does that mean, hikers only? Like, you have to be like a certified boot-wearing hiker?
Yeah, if you ain't hiking, you ain't allowed.
Look at me with my shoeless Joes. This looks like a lovely little hike.
Mm-hmm. Oop.
Oh, yeah. We're down in the canyon now.
So the road then is probably like right up there,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because we hear that water.
Yeah. So I would imagine like somewhere in this area is kind of where I had that heat signature.
Oh,
looked
good
like
point.
A head.
Good point, yeah. So last time we were up here, Allie, I forgot to mention, you have night vision, I have night vision, and you have a thermal unit, and you put it up against your iPad, so like you have this massive viewfinder. And
Yeah.
what did you see that we don't really know what we saw?
So it looked like a perfectly round head to me. I don't know, but every time I stood up, I lost sight of it. That's why I was like kind of standing like this, because you had to either sit or crouch.
Yeah.
And
There's a lovely view.
yeah, this is gorgeous. All these little leaves lit up.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Oh wow, it just keeps going.
Well, that's like another
Yeah.
200, 300 feet down.
Oof.
Oh. Yeah. No. She meant to do that.
Yeah, meant to.
She can moonwalk too.
Moonwalk forward.
Oh God. Allie, are you okay? Are you okay? Allie, are you okay? Okay, Allie.
Okay, let's not moonwalk forward off this little cliffside. Wow.
I can't really see it here, but it is. Wow, it is quite a canyon.
You just have to be here, I guess.
Yep, too bad. Okay. You don't.
Wow.
I'm gonna take a peek here. If I die, I die.
Okay.
Looks like others have done it. Okay, back up.
Okay.
I'm probably not gonna have a hoodie on here when you see me next. All right. Oh. We're back. To be continued.
Yeah.
We went back and reviewed Kyle, Mr. X's interview, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That he said basically you're gonna look for yellow gates or red gates, or I think, did he say like yellow gates that have turned into red gates? Or something like that.
Yeah, I think he said like you might find that red gates were once yellow or something, or like notice the...
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with mostly white gates or green. I'm not so familiar with yellow, so for him to mention that in concert with red is...
Yeah, and this doesn't really, this almost looks like a burnt orange, but then there's other parts that's clearly red, and then the other spot you found on that
That's
side.
clearly red. Okay, we're back. Just up that trail there. Let's see what damage has been done.
All right.
Oh, I should mention, last night we tried to go see an electromagnetic storm, i.e. the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights, and we got skunked. We were up till like 1 in the morning. Nothing. Nada.
Nothing.
Zilch. And they were calling like on a big anomaly, so we're dragging butt a little bit right now. You know, we're trying to shoot an episode.
We're doing our best.
Now we're gonna take it nice and easy.
Okay.
Okay, Allie. The people want to know, I didn't really set the tone the proper way with a proper introduction to the fact that you have your own stories. And they're Bigfoot stories, UFO stories, ghost stories? Okay, what kind of, I don't know if I know your ghost stories. We'll break them down each episode. So tell us a ghost story.
Well, the main one is, I think I told you, is the Marcel the Shell thing.
Oh, tell that one again. Because I didn't know who that was, but it's like this screwed up like little oyster shell with plastic eyes on it. But it's like really funny writing. So it doesn't matter.
Marcel the Shell with shoes on. They turned it into a movie like 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Okay.
But it was like a viral YouTube video from over 10 years ago. And I hadn't thought about it forever, but anyways, that comes back into it. But I had no Marcel the Shell in my mind. But I moved into a house that a lady out in Olney owned, and I just rented out a room on the side of the house above this like kind of garage area. And I decided I was gonna play around with intentions and see if I could experience something. And
Well, hold on now. For the people that don't know, what do you mean intentions? Play around with intentions. Tell people what you mean.
well, I mean, just I was writing down intentions, so like specifically asking for a certain type of interaction. I mean, you know, intention can mean different things depending on the context or the scenario, I guess. But
Okay.
I was specifically writing intentions to have like a paranormal experience with like a ghost, spirit, whatever. I was setting intentions, and then I would, like, for protection, to not have like something dark or whatever, or negative. But I wrote that I wanted to hear something because I didn't think I could handle seeing something. So I specifically wrote, I want to hear something have something approach me that communicates to me in an audible way.
Okay.
And then I asked for them to make it humorous. 1, to maybe make it less scary, but 2, to make it like obvious, maybe, that was what I asked for. And I journaled this during the daytime, and that very night I was woken up at between like 2 and 3 in the morning as something at the foot of my bed, and I could hear exactly where it was coming from, and it sounded like it was 3 feet tall or just crouching. And mind you, this is like the only house that I ever could sleep without a nightlight on. I usually have some sort of light just so if I hear a noise, I can wake up and look around, make sure that there's nothing in the room. And I was in pitch black. I couldn't see anything. So I was like reaching for my phone on the nightstand, and I woke up and I'm hearing this thing speaking at the edge of the bed going, "My name is Marcel and I'm partially a shell with shoes on." And that's like I think it's like the opening line to the original YouTube video where he introduces himself. And I get my flashlight on my phone out, and there's nothing in the room. I like jump out of bed and I run over to the staircase in my bathroom, convinced fully that there's someone in there playing a trick on me. There's nobody. I check my closet, under my bed, there's nobody in there. And I get actually like a voice in my head that says it was supposed to be funny. And I actually answered out loud saying that it wasn't funny. And then I was able to go right back to sleep somehow, even though it freaked me out. And the next day it clicked in my head that that was something humorous that I used to find hilarious. Like when it first came out, me and my best friend would reference it all the time, and my sister. And I hadn't thought about it for probably 8 years. So it was like whatever it was went like deep into my mind and found something humorous, or knew I found humorous, and used that, I guess. I don't know.
You have to watch.
It's very random.
Well, this is what's crazy. You heard this with your own ears.
Yeah, I thought I was dreaming at first, and
Yeah.
when I woke up, I like sat there for a second, frozen, and it continues to talk. Are we sitting?
Down here, yeah. Okay. We'll film ourselves sitting. We'll talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk.
We need to have a talk.
We need to talk about sitting. I'm tired of walking.
So we're down the road from the Red Gate, maybe like a half mile, at this campground. No one's here. I don't suspect we're going to get kicked out for... No, I don't think there's any park rangers. I was telling Allie, I think there's... According to the park ranger I talked to, there's like 2 official park rangers within 60 miles, maybe bigger. And it's late on a Monday, it's not a holiday, so I think they're all about getting home for dinner. So we're going to stay right here, and then we're going to review the audio later. And so if anything becomes the audio, we'll let you know in the next episode. But there's a lot more audio than we have time to review right now, so we'll go through it all. One of them recorded for over like 23 hours, and I don't think that's going to be an easy download for Audacity, so it has to be broken up, blah blah blah. She's kicking back in the hammock chair.
Pretty great.
All right, that's it for now. We got maybe some dragon stuff coming back to you. I don't know, like this whole idea of there being dragons associated with Mount Walker, which is right behind me, is pretty weird. But we did hear just from one source, one source in particular, that there may be legs, so to speak, to that rumor that dragons have been spotted out here in the Hood Canal. I wouldn't put it past them. But maybe they mean thunderbirds, right? Like thunderbirds are also known as like the great reptiles of the sky. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Bye. Goodbye, Allie.